Here on this channel, we love comedy, and I know people like looking back at some of the more historical comedies that we think of the golden age, particularly in BBC TV land, things like The Good Life, Get Some In, stuff like that. We all loved them, didn't we? And it's interesting, isn't it, to note now that in this terribly boring PC world, we're not allowed, of course, to do or refer to certain comedies because they're not shown. It's not PC. I noticed the other night, I might share this with you if you don't mind, that I flicked on a channel over here, I can't remember which one, and they were showing a repeat of the brilliant comedy by Eric Chappell, Rising Damp. Who remembers that? Rigsby and Co. Wasn't he great? Leonard Rossiter, what a fine actor he was. Many people, of course, remember him from the Cinzano TV ads alongside Joan Collins. But before they actually screened it, there was a trigger warning basically saying, it may offend. It was simply funny, and it was written in the time that it was. But I wanted to share this particular story with you because, as I often say, going through some interviews, you forget, of course, the people that you've met and some of the wonderful historical background stories that they had. And in particular, this lady, Dorothy Vernon. Now, Dorothy Vernon was, in fact, a very glamorous lady because she was a tiller girl. Morning, how are you? Yes, I'm talking. Come on, I'm talking to you. I'll have a wave. You all right? Thank you so much for joining me today. Yes, did you enjoy that comedy? We all loved it, did we not? If I say the words Captain Peacock and Mrs. Slocum, do you remember? Are you being served? Wasn't it brilliant? And apparently all based around Simpsons in Piccadilly, which is now no longer. That's a bookshop, by the way. I remember when I first came to London, I went in Simpsons in Piccadilly. Couldn't afford anything, because you couldn't, could you? But it was great to wander around. And they did have the floor walkers, the people that you think, oh, wow, this is really like Are You Being Served? Now, I mentioned a particular lady called Dorothy Vernon. And Dorothy Vernon, you see, had a wonderful career because she literally started her life, in show business, really as a child sort of performer, but then progressed to become a wonderful tiller girl. Those were the girls, of course, that appeared on things like Sunday Night at the London Palladium, Blackpool summer seasons up and down the country. In fact, they were always the girls that went on to warm up the audiences with a smile, a song, and a high kick, lots of glamour, lots of glitter. But you see, when you were a tiller girl, it was very hard work. I mean, trust me, really hard work. I don't know if you know this, but if they were appearing, for instance, in Glasgow, and they were also down to be booked to appear on Sunday Night at the London Palladium, they would go on the overnight train, practicing their routine in a disused guards van on the way down from Glasgow to London. That's the dedication. But Dorothy Vernon was more than just a tiller girl, you see, because if you enjoyed the likes of Are You Being Served alongside Captain Peacock, Mr. Humphreys, Mr. Granger, he was my favourite, so grumpy, wasn't he? Well, she played the canteen manageress for many years, and I had an interview with her, and I literally was just skirting through it and found it. And as she said, the bottom line was it was a wonderful comedy. And this interview was taken a few years after the show had finished, and of course it wasn't allowed to be repeated at that particular point because people apparently were going to be PC offended. She said it was simply an absolute ball of laughter because the scripts were so finely tuned. Everybody knew a certain character. Dorothy, of course, danced with many other famous tiller girls in the lineup as well. Of course, Betty Boothroyd, the former Speaker of the House of Commons, was also a tiller girl. But as Dorothy pointed out to me, the wonderful thing about being a tiller girl was it was a door opener. Once you've been one of them, you're in a selective club, a club that everybody was interested in, a club that everybody wanted to know about. And let's not forget, Dorothy, along with all those other beautiful girls in the lineup, had literally opened the shows for megastars like Mario Lanza, Liberace, Nat King Cole, you name it, huge international stars. And the bottom line was, sadly, as she pointed out, age catches up with everybody and you have to reinvent yourself. She reinvented herself, as I say, as the canteen manageress in Are You Being Served to great effect, and also popped up in many other TV dramas too, making sure that once you hang up those fishnet stockings, those high heels, and that glitter ball, well, there's still another career, hopefully, in the world of show business. So next time you're watching a repeat of the brilliant Are You Being Served, and you see the lady playing the canteen manageress, just think of the stars that she literally danced in front and behind of. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.